So, the game that I'm reviewing tonight, I mentioned before, is Soul Blazer. This is the first entry in an unofficial trilogy that includes The Illusion of Gaia and Terranigma, both very critically acclaimed games. They are excellent. This is developed by Quintet and published by Enix, which we all know Enix was later acquired by Square, thus making it Square Enix.
These people do Zelda 2, the Adventure of Link layout. Like it looks like the exact same like lettering and like your health and experience and everything looks exactly the same as Zelda 2. If you look at a picture of it, you'll be like, even down to the enemy health.
Maybe. But this released on November 27th, 1994 in the United States on the Super Nintendo. I believe it released in 92 in Japan. I think December 92. I could be wrong. But so it's only available on the Super Nintendo and the Super Famicom. I'm playing it on the Super NT, which is, a high quality reproduction of the Super Nintendo. What do I like about this game? There's a lot to be liked about this game. Mostly just the gameplay loop in general is incredibly satisfying. As you can see in the gameplay behind you, the graphics aren't that great.
A little subpar for the Super.
It looks pretty simple. But there's something about it that's so charming and so fun that this game just it feels so good to play. It's also really satisfying how, like, every time you defeat a group of enemies and walk into the little portal, something gets unlocked, whether it's in the current world that you're in, like the current dungeon, or back in your main world. You're basically rebuilding environments, right? So in the first level, you're like rebuilding this town, and then like later you're rebuilding like almost like an Atlantis kind of like underwater city, and then there's like a ghost ship and all sorts of cool shit like that.
Oh, you found a farm spot.
Yeah. So anyway, there's a lot to be liked about this game, but like I said, it's mostly just while very simple and easy to get a hang on, it's incredibly fun. What do I not like about the game? Probably just the movement, right? So like the controls are a little bit touchy and not super accurate. And I'm talking about literally just moving your character around. It's the only thing that, like, sometimes you're just like, for example, in the gameplay footage, you just saw him step on one of those portals. You have to be dead on the portal for it to activate. And sometimes you're like a pixel off and it won't go. And like one touch of the gamepad will send you way further than you intended on walking. And so lining it up can sometimes be a pain in the ass. Other than that, that's about it.
It looks like enemy hitboxes are fair. Like, you don't have to be perfectly lined up with them.
Enemy hitboxes are actually really good. They're very fair. How was the story? The story's fine. It's very rudimentary and basic. But there's nothing wrong with that. Honestly, I wasn't necessarily playing this game for the story. I didn't actually really intend on playing this game, but I started playing it and started just enjoying the gameplay loop so much that I couldn't stop. So again, I wasn't playing it much for the story. Like I said, it's kind of basic. Essentially, there's a very poorly named villain. It's called Evil like Matt. Yeah, it's something like that. Or I think it's Death Toll. I think
wow. I wonder if he's a bad guy.
I believe the bad guy is
the king. Oh no!
Yes.
When you said the name of this game, I was like, this has to be the edgelordiest game ever. Soul Blazer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it sounds generic for sure. But
yeah,
that's hilarious.
So
did Adam write this game? No.
Yeah, I think he did. But yeah, so like the story is not great, but it's fun, right? Was the story engaging? Again, not necessarily, but I don't think you're necessarily playing this game for the story.
I'm playing an RPG for the story.
I know that sounds contradictory, but you and also like watching it, because I had seen gameplay footage of this game long before I ever played it. And I was like, that one kind of sucks. I might skip that one. Right. And then I started playing it and I was like, this is the best. It's so fun. So yeah, it's like I said, story's not that great. Gameplay's fantastic. Like I know I've rattled on about the gameplay a lot already, but I can't say enough good things about it. It's just really fun. And there's a lot of cool items that you can unlock. There, new weapons, new armor. It does kind of have a weird rudimentary system where you can only equip one item at a time, which is strange. And you can't have duplicates of an item. So, for instance, like medical herb, right?
Oh, you only heal yourself once?
Yes. Well, kind of. So you can get an herb, and there's one place in the game where you can store it and then go get another one, right? But you can only take one with you at a time, so it doesn't even really matter if you store it. And you can't just use it. It uses itself when you die. So it's like you die and you get all your health back. Yeah. It's
like a fairy.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like a fairy. Yeah. So, but honestly, I know that sounds awful, but once you get into the game, you realize it's not that bad.
And you ever dying in this game at all?
Yeah, I died quite a bit. Not like a ton. It's not like a Dark Souls game, right? But but there's definitely a little bit of a learning curve, particularly on bosses. So yeah, you'll die sometimes, but it's not the hardest game in the world, but it's also not super easy. Like I said, especially like boss areas tend to ramp up a little bit. But let's see. Gameplay was fun. How's the art? Art's not great, as you can see. It's again, it's kind of rudimentary. There's much better looking games on the SNES, though I will say the successive games after this improved on that dramatically. Illusion of Gaia and Terra Enigma are both gorgeous games. But yes, the pirate ship boss was the hardest, as chat mentioned. I actually agree with that, I think. Let's see what else here.
Horrible.
It's not. It's fun. Let's see. How's the music? The music might be the best part of this game. The music is so freaking good. Like I was telling Zach before the podcast that I don't think that there was a time that I was playing this game where I wasn't just kind of like dancing in my seat to the music. Like it's so good. It's so catchy. There's nothing like epic, like Final Fantasy level or, kind of stuff. Like you're not hearing these ballads, but you're hearing these like really fun, catchy, like energetic tunes not annoying at all. Like literally like so fun, so good. The compose, like it's so good I decided to mention the composer. I'm sure he's done other things. It's Yukihide Takekawa. Yukihide Takekawa is the composer for this, and like I'm interested in looking up more of his stuff because it's so good.
I'm taking your word for this, Paul. I added it to my classic video games playlist that I use for when I'm painting. So
awesome.
It's going to show up on Watching Paint Dry. And I'm just going to be like, what's this? This sounds awesome. I hope I'm going to say this sounds awesome.
Especially, so your town musics aren't as exciting. Some of them are good, but not like as exciting. When you're in the dungeons is when the fucking great music, when the fucking jams are bumping.
Yes.
They're slapping. I sound so old right now.
No, the music can
put me on TikTok, quick.
I had an argument with a student today. I live in the whitest place in the world. Oof. And I had this one kid trying to speak one kid trying to speak like hip hop lingo, and we're like, do you understand a word that is coming out of your own mouth? It was rough. Anyway, sorry.
Interesting.
I don't know where I was going.
Anyway,
I was like,
so-
where are we going?
Yeah, I don't know where we're going with that. Cool story, Zach. Love you, bud. Anyway, so in the chat, Comics pointed out that that Takekawa is primarily a pop musician, which makes sense why these songs are so catchy. Like they're so freaking catchy.
Top boy.
How's the sound design? The sound design's fine. I mean, it's like early Super Nintendo game sound design, so it's like not the best. The music is definitely the highlight here.
I like how it gives you all that space on your armory and shit, and it's like you can only have one thing equipped at a time. So it's like, what's the point of showing that much like blank space?
Well, you get
box.
you get like 20 different swords, and like as you go through, maybe it's less than 20, but you get a bunch of different swords
like 4.
and a bunch of different armors, and the different weapons also have like different abilities. Like some of them can destroy indestructible enemies. Some of them can like
swap that shit out.
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, there's not a ton of swapping out. Usually when you get your next sword, it's more powerful. That's the one you want. But there are certain, like, there's some certain hidden items in the game that you definitely want to get because essentially they will give you unlimited magic. And in order to get them, you have to go back to previous levels and defeat certain enemies with certain weapons to be able to progress. So, and then the final sword, it shoots out a fucking phoenix.
That's amazing.
But it uses magic, which is why you definitely want to go back and get the.
You get unlimited magic, so it seems fair.
Well, you don't unless you're using that item, right? Which is why you'd want to go back and get that.
You want to use that with your best sword and
so because you might want to use your bracelet, which negates damage, or your other bracelet, which increases damage output, or you might want to put on a medical herb so that in case you die. So they're actually in using the so in using the like having only one item being equipable at a time, it actually kind of causes you to develop strategies for approaching certain encounters or certain bosses, which is actually pretty cool. While it's, it could have been done better, some people might think it'd be better to be able to equip multiple things or use items more freely. It actually kind of adds to the gameplay in a sense by making you do. Dude, I'm telling you, you'll enjoy.
I do want
to
play it though. Yeah. I do want to play this. It looks because I now need to because if it's a trilogy,
it is. Yes. And I will say this. I might have mentioned this before. I started Illusion of Gaia. I'm not very far, but as far as I am now, I actually like Soul Blazer better.
It's fair.
As far as the gameplay is concerned, story already Illusion of Gaia is better, but like gameplay wise, I really enjoyed Soul Blazer.
Even though you can move so smoothly around.
Yeah, the movement's very good in
Illusion.
In Illusion, yeah, it's much better, much improved. I'm telling you, this gameplay loop is so satisfying. Like unlocking these areas and building these towns and stuff is so satisfying that like it makes up for the shortcomings that this game has.
How long is this game?
It's not very long. I would say, I don't know. It's so hard for me to tell how long a game is when I don't stream it because I don't have like a quantifiable amount of time that I was playing that game. But I would say, anywhere from, if you're a pro and you know exactly how to play this, you could probably beat it pretty quick. But yeah, maybe 10, 15 hours.
So kind of what I'm looking for.
Yeah. It's a good length. It's a good length. Was the game difficult? Not particularly, though there are some pretty hard bosses. And it really just kind of like, as per this era of gaming, it requires you learning the mechanic, to beat that boss. So definitely doable. Will I play a sequel? There are 2 sequels. And yes, I do intend on playing those. Overall rating and impression.
Ooh.
So I don't want to just swing from this game's nuts. It certainly has some downfalls to it, right? The graphics, the story, things like that. Not
the
great.
graphics are mildly excusable, though.
Yeah, the graphics are certainly excusable. The story, I think, is excusable because the gameplay loop is so fun. But if you're looking for a good story in an RPG or an ARPG, this ain't it.
I mean, I think we all agree all those factors count in, though. You can't just excuse something outright.
Yeah.
I agree. Which
like
is,
if you can be like, there is a story, but it's not that great.
So I mean, that's why I'm not giving this like a 9.7.
I know. Right. Just wondering how it counts. But if things that are better make up for it, then points can be re-added, I guess.
Sure.
Like from an outsider standpoint, having I'm as usual not watching the footage.
What? I'm watching it right now.
It doesn't. No, I know, but like that's sort of my thing. Is I don't watch the footage. I want to listen to what you guys are saying.
Mm-hmm.
I'm basically proxying a listener here, someone who's not watching and actually listening to the show. From what I'm hearing, like there's some awesome stuff here, but there's also some real turds.
I wouldn't say anything's necessarily a turd in this game, but yeah, I get what you're trying to say there. So yes. So here's where I'm gonna put it. I'm gonna put it 8.3, which is I think is still a high score.
That's the same grade you gave. That's the same grade you gave Arceus.
Does it sound
That's
right to
the
you?
exact same grade I gave Arceus.
That's the same grade you gave Arceus.
What's wrong with us in our grading system?
Let me put this in perspective. Let me put this in perspective. For when this game came out,
yeah.
It's a solid 8.3, maybe even higher for when this game came out. In today's standards, I would still keep it above like a flat 8. So you could put it, 8.1, 8.2 if you want.
This is basically an 8 to an 8.
Where am I putting it on the spreadsheet, Paul? You got to make the call.
I'm satisfied with 8.3 because I had so much fun playing this game.
Damn.
Like I had so much fun playing this game.
What else is an 8.3? Curious.
Nothing.
Oh, never mind.
Josh, you put Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity at an 8.2,
right.
And Super Smash Brothers Ultimate at an 8.4.
And I would say this game is better than both of those games.
I would change both of those ratings in today's day and age, actually.
That's hilarious.
I would give Hyrule a 7.3 now, probably.
You reviewed Smash Brothers like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, exactly.
That was like 2 months ago, but yeah. No, Smash is probably that's about it, right? Actually,
Paul and I had Goof Troop at a flat 8.
Okay,
that doesn't sound right. That sounds better.
I like this game more than. So here's the thing: Goof Troop is unplayable single player.
Right,
it's one of the best co-op experiences ever.
Yeah,
but it's unplayable as a single player. So I would say, as a standalone game, this is a better game.
Yeah. I mean, Josh, we did specifically rank Goof Troop at a 5.0 in single player, so that I have that as a note.
Okay, that's good.
I put Battle Network at an 8.5. So like really, like
this is a highly playable game.
Yeah, I can see where Paul's at here.
Yeah.
If it's right around the same range as we put Pokemon, as we put Battle Network, as we put Jedi Fallen Order, even Mega Man X, like is all three of us put Mega Man X just slightly above this. So this game's got to be pretty good.
Wait, so real quick, every time you beat a thing and complete something in the monster world, essentially, it warps you to your like home world and you like unlock a thing there.
Not necessarily. Sometimes. So
you saw a house get created and a guy was like, ghost.
Yes. So sometimes my dead
wife's back. What the fuck?
Basically, when you enter a new area, it's empty. There's like one NPC maybe sometimes, but it's basically empty. And then you go into the dungeon and you start unlocking and rebuilding that area, which is very satisfying.
Building a kingdom, basically. Like,
yes, very much so.
Pretty cool. I like that. Yeah.
It's a lot of fun, guys. Here's the thing. It boils down to, while this game has a lot of faults, I have more fun playing this game than I have a lot of other games. Like genuinely, this game was extremely fun for me. And it doesn't require a lot of commitment. It doesn't require a lot of brain power. It's just a consistent, dopamine drip the entire time. And sometimes that's exactly what you're looking for in a game.
Absolutely.
So I think that 8.3 is justified completely.
Yeah. I was so shocked seeing that go immediately next to Pokemon Arceus. I was like, oh, I should probably bring that up.
Yeah,
but
well,
no,
here's the thing: Pokemon Arceus or Arceus, or I don't know how the fuck you say it.
It's a hard C.
Arceus. Okay,
I think it's Arceus. Is it Arceus?
I've always said Arceus, but
I think Arceus sounds like how they would name a Pokemon. Also, has anyone ever just merely heard him say his own name? Because that's what all Pokemon do.
Well, okay, sure, but so all the Nintendo people when they do the Nintendo Directs have said it with a hard C.
Okay.
What about the Japanese people?
No,
I've been listening to those too. Josh,
actually, that'd be a good way to do it. Is look at the katakana for it, but I don't know. I haven't seen it.
Wait, what's a hard C? Arceus.
C. An S sound would be a soft, and a K sound would be hard.
Yeah. Arceus.
Anyway, Arceus is fine. And here's the thing: I love that game too. It was a lot of fun, but it also has a lot of flaws.
Oh yes.
So I actually would put them on the same level. I had a pretty equivalent level of fun playing both of them.
Honestly, I'd rather play this game than the Pokemon game. Is that bad?
No.
I still think you would love the Pokemon game. But yes, you could play this virtually for free, theoretically speaking. So yeah, I'd say check this game out.
Enigma's only $20 somehow.
Oh, because it's a repro card. It never came out in the United States.
Oh, what? I have to.
Yeah.
I think Illusion looks better than this too. Shit.
Illusion does look better than this. Oh wait, no, you think Illusion looks better than Terranigma?
Kinda.
No way in hell. No chance.
Let me look at Illusion again.
Anyway, let's wrap up the review and get into the topic. And then actually, yeah, you know what? We don't have a lot of juice for this topic anyway, so it's perfect. We're running low on time. Keep a nice short topic and it'll be good. So let's switch over. Swing.